First issue is, I don't believe you've ever heard myself or Mr. Brubaker ever confirm or indicate that our shelter was a no-kill shelter. We operate that shelter under the philosophy that we'll make every attempt to find every animal an adoptable home. Have we euthanized animals that were too sick when they come into our shelter? Yes, we have. Have we euthanized animals that were too aggressive to go out? Yes, we have. So, based under that philosophy, if you're offended by the way that we continue to operate,
that is no kill. What you just described is no kill.
We don't say in one form or fashion that we are kill or no kill at all. People can make their interpretation. I'm responsible to the county taxpayer, and I'm responsible to the animals that come into that shelter, as is Mr. Brubaker. We continue to function in that philosophy that we will try our best to find every animal an adoptable home. And to the credit of staff, volunteers, and Mr. Brubaker and his family, who have been very active in supporting that shelter, we've made tremendous strides toward that. I do take offense whenever people question Mr. Brubaker's credentials. I think if you'll check with the volunteers out there, if you'll check with staff, Mr. Brubaker comes to us with impeccable credentials. Not only did he spend some time in Virginia actually managing the shelter, but he also has the right personality, the right match for this position. He's very outgoing, very level-headed, and able to think and problem solve. And I think our shelter's starting to actually see the benefits of that. Just because there's a philosophical difference on how Mr. Brubaker or I see things does not mean that we're any less qualified to do the jobs we're assigned to. It just means that we have a philosophical difference. For one, me publicly here today, I am very, very proud and glad that Mr. Brubaker is a county employee working at the Allegany County Animal Shelter. Interestingly enough, as an ex officio member, I was sitting with a gentleman from the health department in the back of the room, and I asked him how many cats have we seen in Allegany County with rabies, and the response that I got was 2 or 3 over the last 5 years. As far as the issue with Constitution Park, as I have said before, we have made presentations to the mayor and council, and we've discussed trap neuter release. But with that being said, I'll just ask you to take into consideration this. Over the last several years, we've euthanized several thousand animals in this county, and you're sitting here, and Mr. Wilmot, rightly so, you're saying that there's a cat problem in this county. You keep doing the same old thing, you keep getting the same old results. If we want to solve a problem, we've got to be creative and we've got to try new things. I'm not here saying trap neuter release is the save-all for anything. But at this point, what I am saying is I think we have to be open to new things. Mr. Wilmot, you've raised issues with the issue in Los Angeles. I know for a fact we've actually found an AP article that cites Los Angeles as an example of how trap neuter release can be successful. The case that you have cited numerous times about the Superior Court shutting them down was actually a stay because there was a suit between the Audubon Society and the cat folks in Los Angeles, and the Superior Court ordered a stay on trap neuter release until that lawsuit was settled. It was not an indictment from the Superior Court against trap neuter release in the city of Los Angeles. With all that said, I've worked for this county for 26 years, and I've had an opportunity to do a lot of different things in this county, hold a lot of different positions in this county. And I can honestly say that my involvement with the shelter the last 6 months has been one of the most positive and rewarding experiences that I've ever had. But what I tell you is that my involvement with the shelter over the last 6 months gives me a lot of regret over what happened over the last 10 years. And some of that, I carry the blood of some of that on my hands and on my heart. But what I say right now, right here, is that there's a new way to do business. You may agree with it, you may disagree with it. We live in a democracy where people are free to voice their opinions. We will follow, we will take input, we will take direction. Mr. Brubaker has a meeting set up with all the local veterinarians to bring them in, to sit down and get their input into how the shelter functions. I'm not saying you have to be a dog lover or a cat lover, but respect the fact there are people out there who are just the same. And Madam Chairman, I know we disagree philosophically, and we've very adamantly voiced our disagreements with each other philosophically on what transpires at the shelter. But deep down inside, I do believe that we're all looking for what's in the best interest of the animals.
Absolutely.
The question is, how do we get there, and how do we build that common ground?
How do we agree on what's the best for all the animals?
Yes. I do know from the perspective of the shelter, Mr. Brubaker is actively reaching out. Unfortunately, this is not the first case that we've had with parvo. What we do know is we've really looked at the sealant on the floors to help us resolve the parvo issue at the shelter because of the initial construction of that new wing. We never envisioned that it would take us 2 years to be able to complete that project, and that became an issue with a product that was used that did not live up to what its expectations were. And as we go back through and work that, and we certainly hope that that will resolve that. So with all that said and all that done, the one thing that I will say is there are a lot of rumors and a lot of stories and a lot of things floating around there. But from everybody's perspective, the best thing you can do is educate yourself and learn for yourself. And as Mr. Wilmot has said, go out on the internet, look, read, learn, and make an educated opinion on this particular topic. We will not solve anything here today, but you know what? We'll still continue to go out tomorrow and try to find animals' homes. One of the programs that you're going to hear, and this is the first blush on it because nobody has heard about it yet, but the control side of our operation is going to be doing Operation ROPE. ROPE stands for Responsible Owner Pet Enforcement. The gist of that program is that we have educational materials on responsible pet ownership, which includes the laws in the county, dog license, a rabies vaccination, animal must be on a leash, whatever the case. Our enforcement officers are going to blanket small sections of the community. We're going to start in specific areas of the community where we've had issues and reported problems. We're going to blanket that 1 week with promotional information on what responsible pet ownership is, and then a couple weeks.
And the fees for them if they don't?
Yes, ma'am. And then the appropriate, we'll allow a 2 or 3 week window after that, and then our patrol officers are going to go back in with the enforcement capability, and we'll be writing tickets, issuing citations and things like that for those that are found to be in violation of what the county code is. So certainly, we wouldn't be in this position if we had more responsible owners in the county, but as Mr. Wilmot has stated too, we also have irresponsible pet owners in this county, and we're actively working to do that. Our control staff actively follows up on bites, and in that one particular case, that animal was euthanized. The animal was tested. It was confirmed negative. So we do follow through with that, and we have a great partnership with the health department. We work through those particular cases. But with that being said, I don't know. We are where we are today.
I'd like to make a statement, and no one's looked at it from a business perspective. But when we got Mr. Brubaker, we got his wife and his family, and the countless hours that they work. I would hate to sit down and figure out how much they're really making an hour. It's probably not very much with all of that.